Welcome back to another episode of EdTech on the Street in the City That Never Sleeps, our Noida office edition. Today I'm joined by Shambhavi, Director of Delivery Assurance, and relatively new addition to our team, correct?
Yeah.
Wow. So she's just got right into the interview. How are you feeling with Magic so far?
Yeah, hi, Greta. First of all, and thanks for introducing to me. It's been, a great pleasure for me working here in last 2 months.
Yeah.
It's a great energy that we see on the floor. A lot of people here are youngsters, and the leaders are super great here.
I'm glad to hear.
Yeah.
And we're gonna, before we get into our serious conversation, because that's why I've asked you to get to know you, also to share your knowledge, expertise from not just your time at Magic, but then also your previous roles and how it all connects into EdTech. We're gonna start with a fun question.
Yeah.
And given that we are studying my plants, if you were a plant, what plant would you be and why?
Okay, I would bloom like a plant and share my experiences and love towards all the people in the organization.
Is there any particular plant that comes to mind? Like, for example, I really like lilies, the flowers.
Oh,
it would be like a
You got mine?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
This is
So,
a plan.
yeah, but I think sunflower would do also
that's a
because,
good
in the morning when you get into the office, you bring so much of, light and, like the sunflower gets into the light of every person when you see in the morning. So I think that's my flower of the day.
It's so deep. So poetic and like philosophical. That is a good answer.
Yeah, thanks.
I think that means that she's ready to get into the serious topic of today. So going right into it.
Okay.
In what ways does Magic ensure a client-first approach in all of its operations?
Oh, that's a great question. I think, at Magic, we definitely believe in client centricity. What it means is the client experience, how we want to gain it, right? Focusing and understanding the client expectations, their needs. And at delivery assurance, we always strive to do so because it is crucial to understand what is the customer asking for and accordingly tailor our needs and expectations and processes, with respect to that. Because at the end of the day, you have to deliver, products and, deliveries which is, having no defects at all, right? So it is crucial that you understand what is customer asking for it.
Correct. But also in terms of just thinking about Magic and delivery assurance as a whole, there's not one size fits all, correct?
Yes.
Because everyone has different projects, approaches, criteria, standards. We really have to make sure that we're hitting all of the key points for each individual customer, correct?
Right.
Yeah. It's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah.
Okay, moving into our next one. How do you incorporate customer feedback into the delivery process? And maybe you can go a little bit deeper with an example from Magic or previous experience in general.
So I think every organization is, trying to continuously improve, as per the changing business landscape that we have, right? Sure. So it is very important to have retrospective and regular feedbacks from the customers. At Magic, for the client delight, we always, do such surveys with the customers, typically the CSAT and the NPS surveys. We try to understand the pulse of the customer beforehand, and try to close them on time because at the end of the day, the customer is there for which the Magic is there to, provide their solutions and, stand up to the needs of the customers, right? So through the CSAT and NPS, I think, taking actions on time, closing and doing interim connects to understand what is there going on behind the scenes. Are the project really doing well? Are they understanding the customer's expectations or not? So that's the way.
Yeah, for sure. And when you're collecting customer feedback, do you see people still using surveys as the main approach, or what other ways are people collecting customer feedback?
Yeah. So I think the kind of, governance that we have in the organization, that really builds the surface in the organization where you approach to the customer, provide a lot of feedbacks, a lot of insights to the customer on a weekly basis or a monthly basis where you go back to the customer, hey client, this is the report that we have been doing, or these are the activities that we have been performing. So I think monthly governance meeting is also a way where you interact with the customer, seek feedback from them, and then work towards the closure of the same.
Wow, and that's again not just for Magic though, in general.
Yes, the general approach that we follow in the organization, because governance plays a very deep role in terms of ensuring zero surprise environment also, because you are sharing risk with the customers beforehand, and that's not a surprise to them at the end of the day. So you are praising them with the risk, seeking help from them also, in terms of that.
Great. Well, coming on to risks and the importance of governance, right? How do you anticipate and manage risks to ensure on-time and accurate delivery?
Yeah, as I said right now, right? So we definitely focus on the risk management strategies in the organization. What it means is percolating risk from the granular level, from the project till the senior management, appraising them, reporting them the risk on hand, early identification, mitigation of the risk, and ensuring that there is no slippages at the end of the delivery, right? So that every stakeholders are on the same page.
Which is very important. If someone's not on the same page, that's where we start to see maybe some inaccuracies or gaps for error.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Awesome. Well, talking a little bit more in terms of the future, because we're coming on to 2026, and I feel like we need to talk about what's going to happen in the next maybe 3 to 5 years. So where do you see the future of delivery insurance trending, especially with emerging technologies like AI, of course, analytics?
Yeah. I think as we were just talking about, right, so AI, Gen AI coming into the picture, into the delivery, into the HR operations. So it is spreading all over all the enabling functions. And so do I think it is going in for and applicable for delivery assurance team also, right? Because we have, and we are also seeing in next to 3-5 years, moving from the compliance role to data-driven analytics and risk analysis and things like that, where we proactively publishing the real-time dashboards to the organization and to the senior management. So definitely it's a shift where we are seeing in next to 3-5 years, and leveraging all the AI tools and techniques, how we can be on the same platform with the customer's need.
So for someone who doesn't really know much about quality assurance and delivery, is traditionally these processes done manually, or what is going to be the main switch between what's been in the past and now AI is going to come in?
Yeah. So in the traditional way, what we saw was, the processes were, straightforward, and, we used to do process definitions and tailorings in the organizations and manual risk, tracking and the governance, right? But with AI coming into the picture, we definitely want to have some real-time dashboards, publishing them to the organizations, how the analytics works in the background. And, and delivery assurance is also about, doing the internal audits in the organization.
Yes.
And so, how the internal audit process would be, using and leveraging the AI techniques would be interesting to see. So wait for some time, and definitely here in Magic also we will see that coming soon.
Awesome. Keeping me on my toes is what I'm hearing. Well, I'm excited. There's so much at play with AI. I'm curious to see what it looks like more when it comes to delivery assurance, but that's just my own interest as well. Do you have any final words of advice, insights, tips, tricks that you would like to leave with us today before we close out?
But definitely, I think that, at Magic or with our customers, changing environment, it is definitely very important to have the client centricity as one of the heart of the business that we have at this point of a time, and looking the customers' expectations and the requirements. as the leadership, you saw yesterday, the leadership was there on the floor, and they were appraising about to the employees at how you want to be on the on the trending page right now with AI coming into the picture.
Yep.
So I think we need to get up ourselves also right now, and move in hand with the customers and with different technologies, understanding what it means so far.
Yeah, so not just staying relevant, but also staying
Yes.
ahead of where the current market is.
Right. And I think continuously improving and optimizing, that's really important. What you do in your basic day-to-day activity is the regular task that you are doing. But when you're doing a customer delight for the customer delight, right, and they are having a top-of-notch experience with the Magic, so that's the important that we have to keep in mind.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I have learned a lot from today's conversation as someone that does not have a background in quality assurance delivery or just what really goes into creating these reports for giving our new products and solutions we build from Magic. So thank you for sharing your insights.
Thanks, Kua.
And for anyone on this video and our channel listening, I hope you were able to learn something as well. Be sure to check out all of our other videos on EdTech Chemistry, but then also EdTech Connect for upcoming discussions and trends in education, technology, and EdTech. Thank you so much. Bye.